needs of the people of the city of Chicago,
Okay.
and have a love and a concern in addressing those issues. So I think that's what's most important for the next leader and for the next mayor of the city of Chicago.
Now, as a patrolman, currently, right now on the streets, and I know you see things, and I've seen things when I was on the job. Let me ask you a question. You address children and the issues with schools being closed. What is it with technology do you feel will prevent the schools from closing, and how will you address those issues with preventing schools from closing? Are you looking to turn these old schools into more technical institutions where kids are able to get more trades in their schooling, or education, or back to fundamentals of jobs, or how will you address these issues?
Well, the way you just said it, it's actually a lot of things. It's a mirror of things that will work together, and a mirror of tools that I will have to utilize. One of the things we talk about is community block grants and Title I funding, TIF money. These are avenues of resources that will allow you to have more than enough money necessary to implement the right programs, to bring around the right technology. In other words, no longer using chalkboards in our schools, but using smart boards.
Okay.
Smart boards allow students. You have to understand, the way children learn today is different from the way you and I grew up learning.
Okay.
You know, we learned from hearing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We were told to sit down and listen, whereas today, learning is interactive. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, and what it does is it inclines that you learn by doing more hands-on. Future. And right now, that's not happening. But as the new mayor of Chicago, the next mayor of Chicago, you can believe this chief executive officer will make sure that we invest money in real time in teaching and educating our children, utilizing technology, doing away with books and going into notebooks. You know, the new laptops that are used today in technology, so that our children can advance their learning. You know, the internet has grown and has made a lot of things possible. And so we've got to make sure that our children are educated in those new technologies to make them compatible with global schools and educational systems in the world today.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. We've talked about the schoolings and things like that, and things that's happened around with our children in today, and how things have arisen with the jobs and children and their education. What about the issue with the red light cameras? Do you feel that the red light cameras are needed so much around the schools, or are there more need of police lights, cameras in the African American community, and how would you address those issues with the red light cameras and the?
Well, first of all, as the next mayor of the city of Chicago, we won't have no red light traffic cameras in the city of Chicago.
And why is that?
Well, first of all, it's illegal.
Okay.
And number one, it creates a hardship on the backs of the hardworking people in the city of Chicago. Those traffic cameras have all been kicked out of other major cities because they don't work, number one.
Okay.
And number two, it's a scam. It's a revenue scam.
So all the money that the city of Chicago is going to Carroll Stream, because that's what it basically says on the tickets. When someone get a red light ticket, it has to go directly out to Carroll Stream. And it doesn't say city of Chicago or Cook County. It says Carroll Stream, Illinois. When you get into office, are you going to eliminate high-profile red light cameras in certain districts or certain areas like Stony Island? Or
let me be perfectly clear.
Okay.
We're going to ban red light cameras.
You're going to ban them completely?
They will no longer exist, period, in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
We're going to get rid of red light cameras.
Okay, and how would that make the job, how would that make it for the Chicago police?
Well, I think they will welcome it, because number one, it's illegal
Okay.
To issue a moving violation via a red light camera in the state of Illinois.
Now, does the people know this?
No, it's one of the best kept secrets being kept from.
Okay.
So first of all, a mover is only supposed to go with the driver. You and I both know that.
Yes.
That's a state law.
Yes, it is.
So every red light camera ticket that's been issued has been against the law. It has been a violation of the law.
Okay.
Okay? So that's number one. Number two is it creates a hardship that's not necessary.
Okay.
Okay? And the politicians are always asking for more money, but the fact is, the more money they get, the more corrupt they become.
Now, where is this money going? It's supposed to be helping the schools and helping the education, getting computers in the school. Is this a big scam that
That's
Mayor
exactly
Daley?
what it is.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's a big scam that Mayor Daley put out here. And what about these these boxes down the street? You can't even park now. You have these parking boxes on residential streets
Yeah.
right now. You can't even park in front of your own house, and you got to pay to park in front of your own house. I don't know about on the south side of Chicago, but I've driven through down Garfield Park and all over, and I'm like, what is this?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Miss Keishana Miller tell you some of the stories.
Yeah, please-
that we
please
hear
tell me
from
about
people
that.
As we're out here campaigning, and she can really go into depth about many of the frightening stories that we hear and sad stories that we hear in relation to these red light cameras.
Okay.
And the hardship that it causes on families.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're out talking to people, I think it's a general consensus that people are angry and they are upset that they have to pay for what is already free.
Okay.
You know, so what has happened is the people that are in control, they have found a way to steal what's free for us. So what the Collins administration is proposing is, number one, and we've actually looked into the laws and way that we can start to implement legislatively that's going to benefit the people in the city of Chicago.
About time. All have parking garages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but people cannot even go downtown to have a great day at Buckingham Fountain anymore because they're afraid that they gotta pay in these boxes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
here in Oak Park, they don't pay for parking.
Right.
You can walk around and go to park your car on a Sunday,
Mhm.
free parking, Elmhurst, downtown. What makes these cities different from the city of Chicago? And we gotta pay $30.
Politics and the people, and that's why our campaign slogan says that we're putting people over politics. We want to get rid of that division because we understand the hardship that it's causing on our people. It doesn't make sense for Chicagoans to have to pay for parking where it used to be free.
I mean, we can't even go downtown and have a good time at Buckingham Fountain and worry about CPD. I'm no offense, you know, pull rolling up and giving us a ticket for
Absolutely.
no more than 2 minutes. You know what is the
I
parking
mean,
lot?
you can't really blame CPD because they have their marching
They have their
orders.
job,
They
yeah.
have their marching orders. They are
And let's get
directions.
this correct.
Yeah.
Chicago police does not have a thing called quota. There's no such thing as a quota. I want to get that myth out the air. Am I correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And the other thing is, Ms. Keishana was saying, is that you have to understand they get their marching orders from the mayor.
Mhm.
Okay.
When you take a look at the problems in the city of Chicago, it all stems and the buck stops at the mayor's office. To close 55 schools and to lie to the people of the city of Chicago and say it's because you don't have the money is an outright lie. Community block grants provides that money. Title I funding provides that money. And it's there. Chicago doesn't have a money problem. It has a theft and corruption problem.
Okay.
And when you take a look at what's been reported in the press and in the magazine and in the newspapers, Chicago and the state of Illinois is the most corrupt state and the most corrupt city in all of the nation. That is outright ridiculous, and the people, we suffer because of it.
How accessible will you be as mayor of Chicago?
I will be as accessible as the people want me to be. I intend to be a mayor of the people.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if you see the mayor walking down your street and standing in front of these vacant lots with contractors getting ready to build homes on them to put families in. I don't want the people of Chicago sleeping in their cars or in shelters. I want them in homes.
Okay.
I want people to feel a sense of ownership. And not only that, we're going to build up every class in Chicago. I don't want a poor and a middle and a higher class. I want every class to be able to prosper, to be able to be safe. You know, this mayor, Rahm Emanuel, talks about safe passage. I'm a mayor who talks about a safe city. This mayor talks about charter turnaround schools. I talk about public education moving forward schools. That is the difference.
Okay. Now, what are these some of the issues that you are running into in your election, upcoming election? What are some main issues that you're running into? What are some problems that you're running into and that you have already overcome? So far?
Well, one of the things we've overcome is through education, educating the community and the people on the rights of the people, and legislation and money that is out there to save our schools, to improve our community, to advance and help our non-for-profits. Let me tell you something. Faith-based organizations and non-for-profits are dear to my heart as well, and minority businesses, because they play a key role in our community.
Okay.
These are very important roles. You know, one of the very first jobs I got was working for a small business. It was a mom and pop store that was African American owned on the corner on my block.
Okay.
At age 14, I was able to get a job there, sweeping up and cleaning up and stocking the shelves. This helped to also formulate a work ethic in me.
Okay.
And these are very important things to do. We don't want to lose our small businesses. We don't want to lose our big businesses. But what has got to happen is there has got to be a level of education in letting people know what their rights are and adhering to their voice.
I think another roadblock that I see that we run into a lot is when we're out and we're talking to people, and Mr. Collins and myself, we pride this administration on really empowering people. So we want to empower them. We want to have them be the leaders that they want to see in their communities. One of the things that we're running into when you're talking to certain organizations or churches is they want you to do the work for them, or they're looking in regards to what can I get instead of how can I be a part of what's going on, how can I make a difference. So I think that's one of the mindsets that we have to work to change, and we do that through education.
Okay, I got a young lady, she just chimed in, her name, she put, she's in the 25th Ward of Chicago. Her question is to Mayor Collins. How are you going to address, with you being a Chicago police officer, how are you going to address call-ins? She's an elderly woman, she's 62 years of age. She has gangs standing on her corner selling drugs. When she called in to the 911 system, Chicago police broadcast her name and where the call came from. How would you, as mayor of Chicago, address that issue?
Well, first of all, there needs to be a level of trust between the community and Chicago Police Department. And that has got to begin with the mayor himself. The mayor has got to be out there. The mayor has got to be in the community. And it has to also be the community who finds that trust and takes advantage of it by relating things that are happening within the community. And let me tell you something. When she makes that phone call, we will not only respond to it, but get this. We will make sure that also those calls are anonymous. To anybody else, that will only be for the police to know who made that call.
Okay.
But here's the other thing that's more important than that. We're going to get the children up off the street, not by using the police department.
Okay.
By utilizing our schools, our park districts, and our families. We're going to get jobs to people. We're going to make sure that they're after-school programs for our children so that they're not hanging out on the street and bored. We're going to make sure that that new technology that I talked about earlier, using laptops and using smart boards and new technologies through Facebook and Google and so forth to keep our children interested in education.
What is your thoughts about CAPS? Do you feel CAPS has played itself out, has drowned out? Do you feel that the community is scared or afraid to
It was
attend?
useless from the concept. I'll tell you why. I'll hold no punches.
Go ahead.
Let me explain something to you. No matter what you call something, if you're not willing to put money behind it, and also include the community in it, so they have some ownership in it,
And this is CAPS.
This is CAPS.
Okay, for those that don't know what CAPS is, can you tell us what CAPS is? Because a lot of people in different cities have their different terminology of community alternative.
It was one of the many programs instituted in major cities around the nation. And what CAPS stood for was Community Alternative Policing.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. It was flawed from its concept. Because there was no real money, no real effort put behind it. It was simply a theft used by politicians, utilizing the concerns of the community to fatten their coffers. That's all it did.
And I wanted to add something to that. When we are talking about public safety, and I think that this should address the woman's call, we are interested in, Mr. Collins has on his website that one of the things that he intends to do is to create 50,000 new jobs. What we are more interested in is having police officers in the communities where they reflect the community. So if you're in a brown Hispanic community, then you'll have officers that look like you, and the relevance that's going to be drawn from that is where now you have the racial profiling, you have police officers that come from the suburbs, they don't know what it looks like for our so that trust will be established and built within the community, because they'll have officers that understand that, okay, I understand that this is a 62-year-old woman. If, we give this information out, it's going to put her in danger. They understand the ins and outs of their people in their community. So that's something that we're looking to do when we are to assume this mayor's seat.
And we're not going to make anyone who's trying to do anything positive. We're certainly not going to make you a target, and we're not going to leave you standing by yourself.
Okay.
You're going to have a mayor who makes
whole name. He put out his whole name, and he put out where he live at. Really not necessary. His name is Philip. He live on the south side of Chicago. He's a deacon. He says, Candidate Collins, how are you going to address this issue? Every time when there's an election, politicians, when they're running, they decide to pop up in our churches. Why is it that black politicians show up in our church when it's election time and not at the white churches? What's the deal with that?
Well, first of all, I've been invited to many white churches. My question is to him is, how come most black pastors don't let black politicians in their church? Because Quinn's not black, but he's in every black church.
Okay.
David was not black. He's in every black church.
Okay.
Rom's not black, and he's in every black church. But when it comes to us doing something for ourselves instead of for our own community, the black pastors don't want to let you in there.
Okay.
Some, I'll say most don't. but there are some that will.
Do you feel that politics and church should go together?
They have to go
Absolutely.
together. That's
Absolutely.
right. They
One
have
of
to
the,
go together.
One of the mandates of the Bible is God said that politics shall be on my shoulders. There should be no division between the church and politics.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I think that we have to come together to understand. If you are a pastor, you know, the Word of God also says to pray for those that are in position of power. So if you are a pastor, it's your job to make sure that you are educating your flock. That's why, you know, that these pastors, they are attending over a flock. We need to understand that politicians, God made politicians. Politicians, they make legislation, they enforce legislation. So if there was no politicians, we would still be in slavery. We need politicians. They're important to our community. So that it's just about having the right politician in place that cares about the community, that is not concerned with money over what's important to God. If you have a politician in office that values the same thing that God values, now you're winning. And I think that that is the way that we have to start looking at this thing in this mayoral seat. It's important. We should be encouraging not only African American politicians to come into the church, but our young children, our young African American men need to see that this is an avenue that's open. You can make a difference. You can make a change. You can be that agent of change. There's nothing wrong with basketball and rap, but you know, we can't condemn our kids when they run to that because all of the other paths are closed. They've been condemned for doing those other things.
That's right.
Well, we're going to come back in a few minutes and we're going to ask a few more questions because I know Mayor Collins, candidate Collins, have to get back and he has to get to other TV shows and things like that. So we're not going to hold him long, but we do have a few more questions that we're going to ask him. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give us a call at 708-343-3906. That's 708-343-3906. Or call us at 630-215-8582. And if you'd like to hear him live, he will give you more information where he'll be appearing at. If you want to have any questions, he'll give you his phone number to his campaign office, to his campaign manager, where she can address issues with you, where y'all can sit down and have your poll. And we'll be getting back with you in a few minutes. GSJBC Radio broadcasting live on Live 365, and also we're WGSJBC Radio Live 365. we try to have people that's in Chicago address issues that's, and enjoy Chicago, so they don't have to feel like they have to come out to Elmhurst, Naperville for their.
What's the app again? I'm sorry.
Oh, Live 365.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to say it on the air, but I think I would be interested in hearing some of those questions that you did not want to say.
Oh, I'll ask them.
Well, I mean, you don't have to do it over the air, but I would want to know what concerns.
Well, one of the questions someone's asking is how about rape situations. As I guess you overheard that he's a Chicago police officer.
Mm-hmm.
How will he address? Will there be rape centers like in Elmhurst or Oak Park? They have rape centers and things of that nature because a lot of the homeless shelters and rape centers are being closed out. And how would he address? One young lady by the name of Ashley, she is 16 years of age. She wants to know how will the new mayor address homes, vacant homes in the community, or homes that's being.
I think those are good questions.
Yeah, those are good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the GS what?
GSJ, right here. GSJ BC Radio.
Oh, okay. GSJ.
Yeah,
All
I think
together.
those are really good questions.
Okay. I don't know what type of questions you've been asked that.
Oh no, I mean we and I think
I heard one shows that.
Is that all together or one?
Yeah, all together. All together.
Radio.
Yeah. GSJ BC Radio.
GSJ VC?
No, BC.
BC Radio.
Yeah. Gospel, smooth jazz, biblical Christian comedy radio. On Fridays we do Christian.
GSJ BC Radio.
Yes.
Okay.
And on Fridays we do Christian comedy. We have comedians that on.
I got it wrong?
Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call at 708-343-3906. That's GSJBC Radio. On Live 365, broadcasting every day. This is the Rob G. Afternoon Drive Show.
Yeah, another issue they're talking about is also how will you address the Haymarket situation with the homes, with the AIDS, with homes, AIDS and homes with convicted felons in the neighborhood. How would you address that? Would you let the community know that and things like that? A lot of community elderly people do not know that they have homes in their community that actually house convicts or people with HIV.
First of all, yeah.
You're not live on the air yet.
Oh, okay.
So I was just, you wanted to know the questions, so that was
okay.
one of the questions that they're asking. So just to give you something to think about. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call at 708-343-3906. That's 708-343-3906. We are being live in a few minutes, so just give us a call. GSJBC Radio. Smooth Jazz! Ladies and gentlemen, we will be getting ready for our Gospel Jazz Cruise. So if those are still interested in the Gospel Jazz Cruise, we're going to have Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin, Todd Tibbett. We got Brian Culberson. We have George Benson. So if y'all want to be a part of this cruise, you know what time it is. Give us a call at 708-343-3906. 702 the Tom Joyner Cruise. But this is the Gospel Smooth Jazz Cruise. So come on, we're going to have a great time at Cabo, NASA. You know what time it is. This is the Rob G. Afternoon Drive Show on Live 365.
Yeah, because people have right to their privacy.
Yeah, I mean, so that's also discrimination.
Right.
What's that? I got the mics turned off.
Oh no, I said I understand people in the communities may want to know what's going on, but it's an issue of privacy and it's discrimination. So you know that this house of people who have AIDS now, you know you're putting them at risk to be ostracized, which leads to who knows what kind of abuse.
Okay.
No, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
How that's a complex and delicate situation.
Okay.
Well, we are back in live in effect. GSJBC Radio. This is your host, Ron G, broadcasting live. I want all my callers to give me a call. That's 708-343-3906. That's 708-343-3906. You know what time it is. Today is a great day. Well, you know what? We're going to have to find Mother Nature and get on her about this cold weather here in Chicago. I don't know about everybody else. But tell me, Mayor Collins, it has been a pleasure having you here today in the studio. I want to thank you very much for giving me your time, because you didn't have to give me your time to come all the way out here to our station out here in the western suburbs. I want to know, well, you know, I was asking some off the key questions, off the record, but you said it was okay to ask you these questions. So tell me, how would you address some of those questions that I asked you? And one of the questions was about the homeless shelters and AIDS shelter homes that's in the community. One young lady, she's 16 years of age, she's afraid to walk up and down the street because she found that there's homes that also has a convicts in her neighborhood. How would you address that? Does the mayor has any say to that? Where are these homes supposed to go at?
Well, here is how I would address that. First,
who's speaking again?
I'm sorry. My name is Keshana Miller, and I'm campaign director.
She's the campaign director, ladies and gentlemen. So if y'all have any questions, this is the lady that you can go to as well. He's not a sit behind the chair and close his office door, Mayor. He's going to be out there in your face, not just shaking your hands at the train station. He's going to be out there with you on the forefront.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mayor Collins. We're going to say Mayor Collins because that's what he is to the city of Chicago. You can say he's the new, younger version of Harold Washington.
Absolutely. But the first thing that I would say is, if she's having an issue with convicts that are on her block, what kind of convicts are these? Now, if they have been convicted rapists, then absolutely they will be registered with the state of Illinois, and it's law that the people in the neighborhoods have access to that information. If these are people who have drug crimes or what have you, then that information becomes a matter of discrimination. So what our plan is for everybody. We understand that people have been to prison, that they have drug charges, that they made mistakes. What we want to do is to be able to incorporate these people back into society in a healthy way. Okay. So we're not trying to ostracize any one particular person, and we do understand the needs of the people in the community. And having said that, I wanted to address some of the rape and homeless shelters. What we have been involved in is community development block grants. Okay.
What is the community block grants? Explain that.
Sure. What it is it's federal money. It's federal money that comes into the city, and this is not just Chicago, but it comes into other cities where there's at least a population of 50,000 or more, and the city is mostly impoverished, so there's slums. And the main reason for this money is for the elimination of slums. With community development block grants, there's also another grant. It's called HOPWA, and it's housing.
What is it again?
HOPWA, HOPWA.
Okay.
And it's housing for people with AIDS.
Okay.
And that fund is separate from the community development block grant.
Okay.
Now, under the community development block grant, money is given from the federal government to institute and keep going things like shelters, rape centers, crisis centers, centers for the domestically abused, things like that. So money is available for that. Our intention is to fund those organizations, to perpetuate them and make sure that they have a lasting impact on their community. And the same thing for housing people with AIDS. It is our deepest concern that we make sure that housing is available for these people and for their families. No, we're not about leaving any one particular group out. And what we want to do is to start exposing some of the complexities of these issues so that we can have people in the community that are not just concerned about what's in their house, but they're also concerned about the other people, the ones who went to jail, how we can all work together as a community to make this city the best that it can be for everybody.
Right. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is, as a father of 3 children and a grandfather, I want to make sure that every child is safe in every community.
Okay.
And the state runs basically the halfway houses. And yes, a community should have some say-so in its safety. And they will under my administration. And we're going to make sure every effort to work with the Cook County Sheriff's Department, work with the state police, to work with the FBI and every other law enforcement organization to make sure that those who have to have monitors will have those monitors and make sure that those monitors work. The other thing is, as mayor, I'm going to make sure that we have safe situations in regards to our schools and the areas in which our children have to travel to go to school.
Okay.
We're not just going to drop halfway houses here and there willy-nilly and put them there. We have to work with the state. We're going to make sure that those are in secure areas where we hold those houses at, where those places are at. And it's for those who have AIDS or other mental illnesses and different things of that sort that fall in line with those babies. We want to make sure that we get the best medical treatment for them.
Okay.
Because we remember, there are babies who are born into AIDS. There are babies. There are people who have had lung transplants, heart transplants, who come in contact with that disease. And there's so much more we need to do to come up with a cure for that disease. But we've got to be at all times mindful of the security of the communities as a whole. So as mayor, that is a heavy responsibility, but it is one that I am trained for, ready for, and conscious of. And as a Chicago police officer, I've learned many avenues and many techniques that we will get into later on through the campaign, because there's just not enough time to go into all the complexities of it.
Okay.
But do be mindful of this. The community and the people in which I will be governing over will have my full faith and trust in adhering to their voices and their needs.
So you want the people of all ethnic backgrounds to understand that Mayor Frederick Collins is for them, not the seat of being political. I have a listener here by the name of Janice Parker. She's from the south side of Chicago. What will make you different from any other politician bringing in family members and having them work where the normal people are trying to get jobs in the city of Chicago?
Well, first of all, I come in with a humbleness to work for the people.
So you won't be bringing in your family members or your cousin or...
No, listen.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to work for the people.
Okay.
And I am going to be a mayor of the people. And I want that clearly understood. You know, I take great pride in the service that I've given to the people of the city of Chicago. Not only as a Chicago police officer, but I've also served on the local school councils within the public school. I've raised 3 children in the public school area, and I volunteer my time to work with teachers and educators. I volunteer to work with non-for-profits. I really want to see a collaborative effort in government and the people. And government should serve the people.
So not only
around.
you are a community police officer, you will also be a community mayor officer.
You got that right.
Okay, okay. So we are looking at a community mayor, a mayor who is going to extend his hand out and grab you and lift you up from out the dirt.
We're going to lift each other up.
We're going to lift each other up. And that's what
we rise
the
together,
new mayor.
we fall together, we win
Okay.
together.
Well, let me ask you this question. What is your thought about now Pratt Winkle running for mayor? What's your thought about that?
I think, once again, that's politics.
Okay.
And I don't do politics.
Okay. So no
We all-
bashing or anything like
No,
that.
because
Good.
let me tell you something. We voted to elect Tony Pratt Winkle to be the Cook County Board President.
Okay.
And that term has not even started yet. She's trying to finish the last one. And when we voted for her to finish and do another term as Cook County President, and we expect for her to do that. If we can't trust you to do what we elected you to do, how are we to trust you to do something else?
Okay.
To me, that would be betraying the voters' trust. Don't run for president and then decide at the last minute you want to be mayor. No, do what we elected you to do. She's running now to be Cook County Board President. And we expect for her to do exactly that and nothing else.
Okay.
We don't need political musical chairs.
Okay.
We've already got too many people doing that right now. You have the same old characters, and it's a rerun. You know, 1 minute they're an alderman, they run for alderman, and before they even get to do what we elected them to do, they run for the next thing.
So when you get into the office of mayor, you're cleaning house, right? You're taking that broom and you cleaning house. Am I taking it?
Now,
Or are you keeping some of the same administration that Mayor Daley had, then Rahm Emanuel had? Because basically that's what it is. It's an overflow, you know.
My candidacy represents change.
Okay.
Change means to do something different, but it also means to do something new.
Okay.
And so that's what we're going to do. Not only will I have a big broom, but also a big dustpan.
Okay. So you're gonna have a big street sweeper.
Yes.
The big street sweeper, huh?
That's right.
All right. All right.
No,
Now,
no
look,
clean
how
house,
are you
no.
going to address? I have a young lady here. She is 64 years of age. How will the new mayor address the trash issue in the city of Chicago with the waste management? How will the mayor address that?
Well, first of all, this is very interesting she would say that, because approximately maybe about 3 nights ago, I actually sat down with some city workers in Streets and Sanitation Department. And you know, ever since the Streets and Sanitation Department has been privatized, the service has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's costing us more.
So are you saying what, the city of Chicago no longer has the big blue trucks no more?
I don't know if you've noticed it, but over half, almost, the Streets and Sanitation Department has been privatized.
So what
And
is
that's
it,
the
Big
reason why
Brothers and Flood Brothers and all these other waste men?
Waste
Is
men.
that what the city of Chicago has?
Well,
I mean, I'm not in the city of Chicago anymore, you know, but I do frequent, but I did not know this.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people who have moved from the city of Chicago because of the city taxes, I'm getting hit basically because I'm in the Cook County area
Right.
with the
That's right.
same taxes.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm thinking, hey, I didn't move from the city because I wanted to get away from the crime.
Well,
There's
that's-
crime all over this, all
County.
over,
That's
you know,
right.
all over the county. But my issue is, I did not know that. I'm used to growing up seeing the big blue trucks coming down the alley, and how this woman addressed. How would you address with the alleys being repaved and overtaxing us on our homes? And then they go, I understand the trucks have to go through the alleys and everything, and it has to be clean and everything. But I know that my mother had to struggle through trying to pay taxes because the mayor, Jane Byrne, or whomever was the mayor at the time, okay, we're gonna lay a new alley here,
Mm-hmm.
new pave, and then
they come back next year and lay the same new alley.
Yes, and the taxes are going higher
Because
and
the people
higher
are
on the
being
home.
robbed.
So what would you do as new mayor? How would you address this issue in your election?
First of all, I'm going to create 50,000 new jobs.
Okay,
They're all going to be city workers. And they're
okay,
going to pay enough for you to buy a house, buy a car, put your kids through school, and save some money. We're going
okay,
to start them out at $65,000 a year.
okay,
After a 60-day probation period, you learn your job, you show up on time, we're going to give you another $5,000 step raise. Which is
okay,
going to bring you to $70,000 a year. And we're going to have the most educated, most hard-working, most profound workforce in the city of Chicago.
okay,
And not only that, but we're going to make every other city jealous of us, because we're going to be a positively clean, functional city.
okay.
So you won't have to worry about your trash. We're going to run 3 shifts. in the
That goes with the
city.
abandoned homes with the rats and everything.
Exactly. So
Home
you're going to have 3 shifts. to
bums
do
and
that.
everything living next door.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So when we're talking about community development block grants, a part of the funds that are given from the federal government are to be used for things like streets and sanitation,
Okay.
clean air,
Okay.
energy, the acquisition of real property.
What about truant officers?
Oh, we've talked about that, bringing truant officers back into
into
our
the schools.
Okay.
Social workers back into the
why
schools.
do Chicago police officers have to, do part-time in the schools and not have truant officers out there pounding a beat, trying to get them, hey, why don't you just give them bulletproof vests and let them go out there, because I know they're scared, because this new concealed law out here that everybody, I understand, it's just been said in the media that there's already been one official arrest from the concealed law. Now, I understand with the truant officers, are you going to have truant officers carry guns to be the new sheriffs in town? You drag them back
First
by
of
the
all,
head?
truant officers are going to be Chicago police officers. They'll be licensed.
Oh, really?
They'll be trained. They'll know what to do.
Will this be part-time or?
No, this is actually going to be
a separate division?
A separate division within the department.
Wow.
And it has been in the past, and it was successful. The problem is that we've gotten away from those things that worked and created things that were no more than backroom deals of some politician to hire some friend to then contribute to their political campaign for the next election. And everybody knows that. Well, those things have got to change, and people want them to change, which is why a lot of people subscribe to my candidacy. So we're going to make sure that those things, in fact, do change.
Okay. You said subscribe to your candidacy. How can somebody be a part of your candidacy? How can somebody listening in right now and they're like, you know what, I like what this man is saying. I want to be a part. I want to work with this man. I want to get him out there. I want to see him do his very best. We hear a lot of crap from all these white politicians. I said white Caucasian politicians, these Italians, these Irish. Why should we elect a black mayor? We tried Harold Washington. We had Eugene Sawyer. We had Shaw. Shaw. I understand Shaw is running for mayor, right?
Yeah, it's been announced. But to your first question, I want to tackle this first. So if you want to be a part of the Collins administration, what you can do is you can either go online, www.collinsforchicago.com.
I appreciate that you reading, because I asked another politician, I'm not going to say who it is, but the brother had gave me his paperwork, had it right here, and I asked him the same question. I asked him for a phone number. He didn't even know his own campaign phone number. I'm not going to say it is, but people who's watched it, he came in here high.
Yeah, but you can go to the contact page. You can contact Frederick Collins or myself, Kishana Miller, campaign director, directly by email, or you can contact us via phone, 866-683-0716. You can email us, info@collinsforchicago.com. Again, please visit the website. It's collinsforchicago.com. Our email information is info@collinsforchicago.com. And you can contact us by phone at 1-866-683-0716.
Well, we have had a great show here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thanking you very much from my heart for sending out your chat messages. Future Mayor Collins, he appreciates you contacting. He wanted to hear you call in, but of course, you know, people are afraid, but so they doing the new technology thing by sending messages via the computer. We want everybody, they thank you very much for sending in your information. They are going to be out here for you. Mayor Collins, where will you be at?
Well, next we have an event in which we're going to be in several places in the community.
Okay.
Every Saturday we meet at 733 North Kids Avenue at the Richard M. Daily Library.
Okay.
From 12:30 until 3.
Right. And then every Sunday.
And every Sunday we are meeting at 2323 West Pershing Avenue.
2323 West Pershing Avenue. Okay.
Yep, Chicago, Illinois. Some more recent things that we will be involved in is we will be involved in the community protest, if you will, for the turnaround schools that's going to be tomorrow at Dvorak, which is 3615 West 16th Street.
Okay.
So we'll be joining with Action Now and voicing why public school is important and it's the center of our communities.
Okay, and I want to invite you to back here. I'm making a public announcement on the radio. I don't do political issues. I don't endorse political candidates, but I'm going to endorse Frederick Collins.
Well, thank you,
ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying this publicly.
Thank you,
we don't do endorsements because we don't want no favoritism, but hey, it's not because I know this man. I know him on a level of integrity that is there in his heart. So I'm personally, not because I had him on a radio show, but I know this man. I'm not saying, oh, well, hey, GSJBC Radio is endorsing Mayor Frederick Collins. What is the number that they need to punch? You have your number already?
Well, no, we won't have our number until later on this year. The election is February 2015 in February.
Well, we want you to come back to GSJBC Radio. I don't know if any other radio station has put their endorsement out there, sponsorship.
Not officially, you're the
well, I
You are the first.
officially taking that step up to say, I am here for you at every cost. You can come back here anytime. You don't have to have no appointment. Hey, you got something to say, you come here to GSJBC Radio. You want to pound, hey, we here for you.
Well,
Plain
thank you so much.
and
Thank you so
simple.
much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you for your courage. And the things
Oh,
you do
man,
every day.
we are here for you here in the studio. And if you got banners or flyers, whatever you can leave, whatever here. I said it here on the radio. Look at me. Look at me. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Frederick Collins is going to be your new future mayor for the city of Chicago of 2015. He's putting Rahm Emanuel out. He is a man that has integrity. He has an interest in your life as a mayor, as an African American mayor, the new young Harold Washington.
That's right.
Is that okay to say?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay,
That's it.
okay.
We model after Harold Washington.
Okay,
That's right.
okay, because we need a man who's going to be there and make sure that things are going to get done correctly. I'm going to ask you one more question about integrity and morality. Do you feel the 911 system or the fellow Chicago police are losing their moral or their tact for the mayor and the superintendent of police?
But let me tell you something. There's a lot of distrust and a lot of disappointment in every city department.
Are they
with
being
this mayor.
overworked?
Not only are they being overworked, but when you spend over $100 million, I would say that's more than overworked. And let's keep in mind, there are over 100,000 gang members in the city of Chicago, and there are only 8,000 Chicago police officers working the streets.
Why don't we just take them and put them in the police academy gun range and just let them pop. Just put them down at the gun range. Okay, y'all didn't hear me say that.
But
I'm gonna be honest, not to interrupt you, but that's how I feel at times when I hear a young guy standing in a corner shooting a little girl, 12 years old, and then you got mothers that's crying because the little girl's standing out there trying to sell a snow cone on the west side of Chicago in the Austin community. Do you feel that as the mayor, there are certain areas that the mayor is staying away from right now for political reasons? Not you, but
The current mayor?
yeah, the current mayor. Do
Well,
you
not
feel?
only political
Well, I mean,
reasons,
like
but-
West Austin. Let's put it out there. The West Austin area.
I don't think this mayor is concerned about any part of Chicago other
Yeah.
than his pocketbook and his bank account.
Okay.
Let's get one thing straight. Rahm Emanuel has no intent or no concern on improving anything in this city. This is all about Rahm Emanuel. And with leadership like that, this city will not survive. We have got to turn it around. We have got to change it. Let me tell you something. This floor belongs to the people. And we've got to take it back. And that means becoming involved, becoming a registered voter, and that means taking action. That means becoming part of CollinsForChicago.com.
Okay. CollinsForChicago.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You've left your messages. This man is here for you. He's here for your interest and your family. And he's not going to take the money out of your pocketbook and put it back in your pockets where your home is safe out here on the street. Not trying to repay with these underhand aldermen and things of that nature. We want you to give this man a call, support him at your cost. Don't look at it because, oh, he's a black man, oh, what is he going to do? Yes, politics in Chicago is crooked, but this man is not. And he will reach in your heart. Not just in your heart, he'll put something in your pocket. It's called a job. So the kids can get their butts off of, you know what? I got one question. What are you going to do about these saggy, baggy pants walking down the street?
What are you going to do about that? Is there going to be a law, or will you implement a law? How, I mean, back in the day, you used to go to church, your daddy put the shirt down in your pants and everything. Now you're seeing kids come to church with gym shoes and hats and earrings and things like that, but pants hanging off them. But you can't even walk to, I'm going to be honest with you, the store right here, the mobile gas station here in Maywood, they sell drugs right out of there. Yeah, your face just dropped.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they sell drugs right out of there. You can go in there right now and you'll see they got 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 8 kilos right there in the windowsill where they got the glass up there and you can pay for your gas and everything. How will you as mayor address that? I don't know how many don't come in to 30 minutes, don't you pay for your gas, pay for that. How would you address that? Are there any stores in the city of Chicago? I'm sure there are in the community, but you can, when you leave from here, you can go to that mobile gas station right there, walk right in, and you'll look right there in the glass, and you'll see it right there. They call it synthetic weed, but it's not synthetic weed, okay, really. They got 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 8 kilos. What is it that the new mayor would do to address that?
Once again, I'm going to go back to education, investing in our communities, community block grants, Title I funding, TIF money. We've got to give people something to say yes to.
Okay, hold on. We got a caller on the line. Hello, caller. You're live on the air. How can I help you? This is GSJBC Radio. We're live on the air with Mayor Frederick Collins. How can I help you? Hello? That's right. The future mayor of Chicago. We have. Would you like to talk with Mayor Collins? Okay, go ahead.
And I guess I just want to congratulate him on his campaign. I didn't really know I was going to be live on the radio when I called in. I was calling not too loud.
Well, we're doing a live broadcast right now. We have Mayor Frederick Collins. He's running for mayor of Chicago. Is there anything that you want to ask the future mayor of Chicago?
My brain is on something totally different right now. I don't necessarily have a question for him. I just want to congratulate him on his campaign and let him know, that we're behind him and definitely looking forward to making some changes and hopefully you can get rid of some of those parking meters.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, parking meters. Yeah, we've been talking about the parking meters. Is there an issue that you want to ask him and address real quick while we have you live on the radio?
You know what? Okay, I'm just going to say this, just because we talking about parking meters. I can't bring my car to Chicago because she's on the wanted list. So I would like to know if you would plan to have any type of amnesty program set up for some of the people who I think have been kind of bullied, and trapped into this hole. Because everything in Chicago gives you a ticket on your car. And then the next thing you know, you on that boot list, it's just ridiculous, from the city sticker to, just so much stuff that you have to have just to own a vehicle in the city of Chicago. When I first moved here, because I'm not from Chicago, I couldn't believe how many people didn't own cars. And now I know why they don't own cars, because the cities took them.
Well, one of the things you're going to be very happy about is that I do talk about an amnesty program. In other words, if you got tickets up to the date in which I was sworn in, we're just going to get rid of those tickets. We're going to send you a letter until you come back and get your car. That's what we're going to do.
That's wonderful. That sounds so good.
Oh, we wanted to add another thing. So currently, under the current administration, it's 2 tickets in a booth. So what we're going to go back to is 5 tickets. You get 5 tickets before you are boot eligible. Okay. So as Mr. Collins said, we do have a strategy to implement the amnesty program, which is going to provide relief for families who are experiencing difficulties with tickets and boots. It's not just the people of Chicago, but right now we're people of Chicago. We're experiencing the same hardship.
Now, so I'm just going to let you know, caller, before you say your name or anything, Mayor Collins, Frederick Collins, is also a Chicago police officer. So if you want to give out your information, he can give you a ticket. No,
I am very familiar with Mr. Frederick Collins.
And would you like to say who you are, caller, or you want to keep that anonymous?
Oh, no, I think I said my name. This is Xavier Fox. Mr. Collins.
Oh, well, thank you.
Actually in a meeting when he was supposed to do my show. I'm still mad about that.
Oh,
well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Look, I apologize for that. You know, they're pulling us 50
okay.
50 million ways. But let me tell you one thing. Rest assured, one of the things I talk about is an amnesty program that we're going to do. But not only that, but a SWAT program. Because so many people get to the first or second or third ticket, and they just don't have the finances to do it. If you come into us, when you get that first ticket, or that second or third ticket, and say, hey, look, I just can't afford to do these. If you're able to work, we're going to have you do a little cleanup around the city. And we'll get rid of those tickets for you.
What kind of cleanup are you talking about?
Well, working in your community, or either volunteering at a non-for-profit, or working with a church one Sunday, then you will get rid of those 1 or 2 or 3 tickets.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if you ignore everything and you don't come to us, then we can't help you. But if you get to that 5th ticket, we're going to also send a letter out saying, hey, wait a minute, we do have this SWAT program. And we know that there's a church in your community. We know that there's an organization in your community that you can volunteer at. And if you have a disability, whereas you can't do those things, then guess what? We're still going to work with you because we know that there are a lot of disabled people out there who need help. And we're going to work with you. We don't want to take your vehicle. We don't think your vehicle should be taken.
Did you hear that, Ms. Fox? So you don't have to worry about the new mayor having his people come and boot your car. Please tune in and listen more on Live 365 on GSJBC Radio, because the mayor, he wants to address your issues. Because go ahead, Mayor.
Oh, and one more thing I want to say is, a lot of time people are going to a doctor's appointment, or people are at church, and one of the things that really is one of my pet peeves is having their car booted. Now you know they're in church. You know that they're at a doctor's office in the parking lot. Come on,
They're
man.
booting people at
Oh
church?
man, let me tell you something. People have gone into a grocery store or gone into a place of business, and you know that's specifically what the parking is there for. And it is hurtful to see somebody, especially somebody who's gone for kidney dialysis, to come out and see that their vehicle is booted and they have the handicap placard there in the windshield. We're going to use common sense.
Now, is this just in the black community, or is this all over?
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, it's all over. And it's
Okay.
even more so in the black and Latino communities.
Wow.
But we're going to change that. This is
Okay.
why I say I want to be a mayor of the people. That's the only mayor I want to be.
Did he answer your question, Ms. Fox?
Yes, he did, very much so, and I definitely appreciate that, and I will be casting my vote for Mr. Collins.
Uh-oh, we have another endorsement. We have another endorsement, ladies and gentlemen. We have another endorsement. That's right, thank you very much.
I'm flying to the city of Chicago again.
All right. Bringing integrity back to Chicago. A man who is about his people. Thank you very much, caller. I will contact you back after the show. Thank you for calling in to GSJBC Radio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, got another endorsement. Well, you know what, Mayor Collins, I know it's been a great show today, and I know you have to get out of here.
Yes.
And I want to thank you very much for giving us a chance to talk with you live on Live 365 on GSJBC Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a call as soon as you can, because GSJBC Radio is here for you at every cost. GSJBC Radio. You listen to the Rob G Afternoon Drive Show. So if you have any questions, you know what time it is. GSJBC Radio is here for you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it, bro.